Hi everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are having a fantastic weekend. Check out my border. It is awesome. I did some border planting over the weekend and I'm very cognizant of the fact that I very rarely show you the front of my house because I don't want to show you my house number. But today I'm working very hard to do that because look, I've got so many roses coming up, which is lovely. That rose needs to be pulled off. I'll do that later. We've got so many lovely roses coming up right now and they all look amazing. And there's plenty of other cool things to talk to you about today. Emma's at the house today, which is why there's an extra Bolt EV there. For those who don't know, we've been actually working on reducing Em's time at the studio. Not Em's work time, but Em's time at the studio because they live a long way away, right? And for them to come all the way here every day to work, even though, you know, traditionally everyone at Transport Evolved, apart from me, works 4 days a week, it's a long way to come for 10 hours of work. If you're doing a 40-hour week, 10 hours of work, and then you're sat in traffic, it's not a good thing. But anyway, they're here today because we're filming a lot of things. So let's show you all the things that have been going on in the garden and explain the thumbnail. So as you may have remembered from last week, I put my corn and my pumpkins and my squash in recently. And I think I explained in that video that I have also been putting peas and beans in. The idea being that the beans and the peas produce extra nitrogen, which encourages the corn to grow better, and the squashes, whether they are pumpkins or courgettes or zucchinis, they provide shade to discourage weeds. And so I've been putting in here, these are my popcorns here, these are butternut squashes, slightly different, but to discourage beans and peas from growing. Now, to discourage weeds from growing. Now, as you can see, I do now have some beans coming up here, as they should, which is fantastic. But if you look over here, you might notice there's a bit of an absence of peas, and that has been, there's maybe a pea growing up there, and I think there's one in the middle there, but fewer peas. Luckily, I followed the one for the rook, one for the crow, one to rot and one to grow methodology. Very old kind of country saying from the UK. And I've been following that because we've been having mice coming in and helping themselves to the seeds. I'm pretty convinced it's mice. I haven't caught any in the act, but I don't think it's birds because I think birds come in and they take them away, right? They don't actually consume them on sight, but there have been lots of half-eaten, chewed pea and bean seeds littering here. I have got rid of most of them now, but I also think that I planted enough that they haven't got all of them. And now that the seeds are starting to come up through the ground, I don't think I'm going to lose very many more. So that is a good thing, but it has been a pain. And a lot of people go, well, why didn't you put a mesh up? I suppose I could have put a mesh up to discourage birds and rodents and stuff, but I do have the chicken wire. And also, look, trying to be a harmonious gardener and allow some of the local wildlife to have some of my garden. I don't need this all, that's for sure. But some of it is growing. As you can see, there's another bean coming up there, and I think there's probably one over there. So we'll see what happens. I'm not super stressed about it, to be honest. What I am impressed about though is that how much this has grown in the last week. So this one here is a double corn plot. So I know this is edible corn. The other corn is edible, but this is edible corn to just cook as you would normally cook corn. That is doing well there. And this one is another double one here. And interestingly, the ones with double corn seem to have more successful beans and peas growing in them than the corn that was the corn and the peas that were in separate ones. So I don't know if that was something different that I did, but anyway, my watermelons are doing well. I had one of my old friends reach out to me, who is a Texan who now lives in Washington State for reasons I'm not going to go into, who said, hey, I will I will pay you all the money if you can grow watermelons, because apparently Pacific Northwest and watermelons don't mix. So I guess we'll see. You know who you are, friend. If I grow some watermelons, at least one of them will have your name on it, and I will have to figure out a way of coming up to you or getting you down here to try them. You know where I live. You've been here before. So let's check out my strawberries. They are doing incredibly well, and we are so close to getting, like, look down here. Look at all these strawberries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are more all the way through. I'm just so excited because I like strawberries, and normally we don't get that many strawberries in one go. So there might be enough strawberries to actually have a proper bowl of strawberries. Maybe in time for Wimbledon. Who knows? I don't watch Wimbledon, but I will watch Wimbledon just to say I've had strawberries and cream while Wimbledon has been happening. Over the week, I have been busy in the garden. Yesterday was Wednesday, and I was having a bit of a bad mental health day. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to come in the garden, and I did some gardening, and I didn't cut this, didn't trim this, and I didn't cut that little triangle there, but sort of the other side of that shed is all cut. We cut down the grass because it's supposed to be a heat wave here today, tomorrow, and into the weekend. So by the time you're watching this, there'll have been a heat wave. And I wanted to make sure, pause for Charlie, I wanted to make sure that everything was, recovered from being cut before the heat arrived. But I do have some cool, fun things to show you in the greenhouse. The greenhouse today is kind of, was warm earlier, and it's now getting cool. So I'm going to be going around, and I'm going to be, taking care of all of these windows that are open that I opened earlier on in the day. It gets very hot first thing in the morning, and then when it gets to this time of day, as soon as the sun starts to disappear, it gets cooler. Just walking down the greenhouse though, if I walk to this point, it feels warmer here. It's kind of bizarre, but that's normal. I've put my supports in for all of my tomatoes and my cucumbers and my peppers, and everything is working really well. I think this cucumber here has had better days. I think that's going to get replaced. For some reason, I think these are lemon cucumbers here. Actually, no, I think these are English cucumbers. They're called Chelsea Prize. For some reason, these ones seem to be much more sensitive to changes in moisture and also changes in heat than the rest of my cucumbers. If you look, those ones are pickling cucumbers up there. They are doing incredibly well, and you can tell they're doing incredibly well. There's a fly. Go away, fly. You can tell they're doing incredibly well because all of those cucumbers next to them are spare cucumbers. But if you look in this one, I've only got like 1, maybe 2. I've got 2 spare cucumbers left, and I've already had to replace 2 or 3 of these. So this one here does not look well at all, which is disappointing. But over here we have cucumbers of a different variety. These are lemon cucumbers, and they are all doing incredibly well. I need to put my tomatillos and figure out what I'm going to do with these tomatillos, and also with these watermelons. If you want tomatillos and watermelons and you're a mutual friend, just reach out. I'll have some spare. I can give them to you. The cucumbers are doing great over here. Again, not super happy with how some of these are doing. Some of them look like they've had a little bit of a hot day. As you can see that that over there is a pepper that's not having a very good day because it's been so hot. So I have to balance the difference between wilting because they're hot, wilting because they've had too much water. I think in this case it's because they're too hot. So I'm just going to maybe leave the air on, flowing through here a little bit longer. But if you look on this side, everything's doing okay over here with the tomatoes. I've got some in pots there that I'll need to be giving some water to a little bit later on. But the other day I did buy this, which is a valve that allows me to adjust the amount of water that's going into here. And obviously if it's like that, it's fully closed. If it's like that, it's fully open. So if I put it somewhere in the middle, then it allows some water to get in while simultaneously not allowing my cucumbers to get too wet, because tomatoes like to have more water than cucumbers. And if you follow that down, you can see there, that is a Y connector, and all of that goes back to the house. And so I need to basically modify the water flow to make sure that I don't overwater these guys, while also making sure that these have enough water. I think right now though, looking back up here, I think maybe some of these are just, they're getting too much sunlight, and then further down here they're getting baked as well. So I'll have to do some some careful planning here, but do have some good news here, which is that if you look right here, you'll see I have a pepper growing. This is my first pepper of the year, which I'm very happy about. You'll also notice I've got these little clips, which I 3D printed on my 3D printer, just to make sure that everything gets staked up properly. And yeah, I think that's just that it just got a little hot. Yep, that's definitely a wilted hot, as opposed to I'm too wet. Because if I put my finger down here, if you look, it is damp, but not super damp. So maybe I'll give them some water a bit later on. Anyway, that is everything going on in the garden. I'm not going to show you the potatoes and the other side of the garden because there's not a lot happening up there. But tell me what's going on in your garden. Have you had any fruits of your labour yet? Or are you like me and still waiting? And Charlie is making all the noise. I'd love to know if you have a rooster and are they as loud as Charlie? Let me know in the down below.
Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube. They help cover our bills, pay our team, and make sure that we can be 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just over $10 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters, Mac McIntosh, Kyle Randall, Bryant E. Day, Shedrick Mask, and Robin Mayorga. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at, address linked below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below. This month, we're getting ready to celebrate Pride with an amazing t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator Erin. Get yours today when it drops in early June by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving!